some of us are looking for something different. We are looking for something from within. Because coffee reforms will not, and you said it, coffee reforms will not be done on the desk and in other places. You've got to be passionate. And I want to thank you because I see that passion in you. And I know then therefore we are going to get places. This is a part of a long journey of coffee reforms. And I will remember that in the early, late 90s, actually early 90s, when we started reforms, and I'm happy to see Mheshimiwa Kiraitu Moronge here. Was in Parliament, we formed a team. We formed a team called COTEPA, Coffee and Tea Parliamentary Association, which was then chaired by the late John Mishuki, and Kiraitu was the secretary then, and I was its treasurer. So it's been a long journey. And to date, we are seeing a lot of things, because a lot of things have happened. But these piecemeal reforms have not helped the sector. That's why I am happy that today we are meeting in Meru. First to look at what we have on the table. And on the table we have got the coffee bill, which in the last parliament, I, as chairman of agriculture, we passed in the Senate. And I am happy the new Senate has taken up the same bill, and they have done it, a few amendments, whatever it is, we will look at those. I am happy that they are going through with that bill, because therein lies the answer to the problems we are discussing here. The coffee problem started in early in the 90s, and very many people don't even know why we are where we are. We are where we are because of some people, and they have delegates in here, Your Excellency. Those people, the war was to kill KPCU. And that was but there was nothing else. It was to kill KPCU so that we start other moribund millers and start other marketing agencies. That was the reason. And they did succeed to some extent, because they got their way, their millers, they got their licenses, they got even statutes changed in Parliament at that time. They became marketing agents, now they are marketing agents. And I will tell you, because this is going to be very, very unpopular with some of us seated in here. All these bills which are now started all over the country, Your Excellency, most of these are white elephants. Why do I say so? When this country was producing 100 and close to 40,000 tons of coffee, we had 1 mill, KPCU. We had 1 KPCU, 1 mill. Now, we are now producing, we are at what? This year about 50,000 metric tons, and we have almost 20 mills. We have almost 20 mills. These are white elephants. I know I am going to be very unpopular with people who are leading those mills, but I want you to look at these statements 10 years from today, because that is the truth. That until and unless we begin to look inwards where our problem is, because our problem is not with the consumers. Our problem starts with us, and is with us, starting from our cooperative societies that has been saying governance all along, from the cooperative society all the way up. And I really do hope, those of us who've been in the reform sector for this long, I really do hope that this sector, when we put in institutions, because we need strong institutions, that we will have strong leadership in those institutions. Because that's where it all is. Strong leadership in those institutions. People who will be passionate to lead this sector, where this sector should be going. Honorable Kuria did mention, I think that happened once. Me and your brother, your great brother, we, at one time, when we were championing coffee, we made statements that from now on, Kenya coffee will not leave Mombasa in bags. It will live in either cans or in tins, value added. The Chancellor of Germany came here. And the reason we were saying that was we just come from Berlin, where they were congregating all the world coffees from the Latinos, from Africa, from wherever, and then exporting it. Can you imagine that Germany then was the biggest exporter of coffee, and there isn't even one bush of coffee in that place, but they were the biggest exporters of coffee. When we came back, we said, now this does not make sense. And these fellows are dictating prices to us, that this is how much we'll buy your coffee. And one time we asked, and I remember it was a meeting where then the president was Kibaki. That's why the man came. Us, when we want to buy a Mercedes, you walk to the showroom, and you have no option to discuss the price. The price is fixed, it's there. Take it or leave it. So why is it that our coffee people are telling us how we should take it to them? Your Excellency, you have traveled, and all of you have traveled. You have gone to all these cities, all these Starbucks and wherever in the world. Tell me, where did you go and find in a cafe that this is Kenya AA, this is Kenya AMB, this is Kenya PB? Nowhere. All of it is Kenya AA, wherever you go. What happens? At the exchange here, a bag of AA maybe that week or that month was bought at $450. Now the other bags, the lower grades, would you believe it? Some of them go for as low as $50. $50 per bag of 50 kg. That is $1 a kilo. If you divide that kilo by 6.5 to get how much that is in shilling, it is cents. It is not even shillings. If you divide, how much that is, in terms of shilling. So what we have to look at today, and I am happy we are talking about value addition, is for how long? Those of you who do not know the history of cooperatives and the history of coffee, is that coffee, when it was brought by the white man, by the colonialist, it was not meant for you, it was meant for them. Even after you got independence and you grow the coffee, it is not yours, it's meant for them. 60 years later, after we've all gone to school and we are where we are today, we are still behaving like my grandfather was the one who started planting that coffee. It is time to change. And it is time to change, and I think that this conference will come up with what it is that we are looking for in terms of reforms in the coffee sector, so that the farmer eventually gets what is due for them. But I do know it's not going to be easy. But I'm happy because now I can see where it is being championed from. I'm very comfortable. I know it will work. Because these people are not easy. I want to see easy. Even when we are doing it at the Senate, one day you would get one of our members saying, but you know these things, why are we removing these people? Who is going to sell the coffee for us? Our coffee sells itself.
Yes.
It is known worldwide. All you need to do is remove those fellows. The reason why we are poor as coffee farmers is because our coffee is not available to the people who want to pay top dollar for it. The other fellows, the fellows who manipulate the NSC, are only 6, Your Excellency. They are not more than 6 fellows who manipulate the NSC. They are 6. I'll give you the names so you can get to know who they are in different names. And I know you know because you mentioned they come in different forms. One company and another company. And I can tell you, keep carry on, when they started trading with the good beans of Korea, now they're getting top dollar. All the other farmers here who deal with directly with the importers, they're getting top dollar. But our own people, the leadership of cooperatives, they don't want that. Why? They want to UCO. Those years when we were going to school and getting and paying school fees, I want to finish. This is the very last one. When it's coffee, I can speak the whole day. But those days when we were doing that, our cooperative societies were not in debt. They were not in debt at all. Because, number one, the first AGM of the year is to fix the budgets for the year. So why are we borrowing? We are borrowing money to do what? Today you are being told everywhere that we need to pay this. I'm sure wherever he goes, is we want subsidy. Really, for what? What happened to the money? And coffee was not given, coffee was paid. Anyway, I want to end there right now. I don't want to end there, but I have to end there because of the
time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. The reason why we have problems, and fortunately I was at the cooperatives and we changed the laws before I left. The problem we have in our cooperatives is the leadership in our cooperatives. We have leaders who don't even have that coffee. Can you imagine that you have a chairman of a cooperative society for 2 years was 200 kilograms? What do you think he will eat? Eh? This fellow will move his office, his sitting room to the society. So you find 9 of them in your towns, from one cooperative society, until they have come to see the bank manager and get their stipends. That is where our problem is. Our problem starts from down there. And I know because we have discussed this with the Minister Cherugui, that this will, if we can enforce those laws is what kind of leadership. And now I know it is going to happen. Because I know those days fellows would even want to go to court and say, no, you cannot interfere with our cooperatives. You know, about markets, and I am happy CS Kuria also talked about opening new markets. At one time, we had finished issues of marketing Kenya coffee. We got all China Federation of Cooperatives. Those of you who don't know, China is a cooperative country. And their vice chairman, the chairman came here and he met President Kibaki then. And we agreed that all Kenyan coffee will be processed and packaged here and labeled in Chinese and taken to their supermarkets. Those supermarkets also are cooperatives. Do you know what happened, Your Excellency? KPCU was supposed to be the one doing that. They took me to court. Walipeleka waziri kwa court. Wakasema, you cannot interfere with us, we are a private entity. Fortunately, for them, elections came and I was voted out. So it was very fortunate for them. But, but that did not silence me. I am here today. Talking about the same thing and saying we know the market for our coffee is there, And those low grades which are fetching $70 and $100 at the exchange, wacha tusifanyie hapa Meru. The problem is that we don't consume our own coffee. When we were going to school and getting top dollar on our coffee, we were consuming our coffee. Most of you will remember Kahawa Ngoma, Kahawa #1, KK Kahawa. Those were our coffees and they were available. Today you go to the kiosk here, you will not find coffee there. You will find. You would have found a Nescafe from imported from other places. Our coffee is not there, Your Excellency. Yet our farmers are getting cents for coffee, which we ought to have done in Meru here. So I want to congratulate you, CS Korea, for what you are doing. Let us get those low grades which fetch nothing out there. Let us value add those things here. Let's value add here, locally, and consume it here. Can you imagine, Governor Kawera, if all your schools were consuming that coffee? Yeah, do you know coffee is good for students? If you are consuming that coffee, right? So you've already got markets for that coffee. Your hospitals, everywhere, we've got a market for our coffee. It is there. And the opening of warehouses. Africa alone, Your Excellency, right now with our 40,000 metric tons, it is not enough. It's not enough kupeleka Africa, only here Africa. Wacha kusumbua na mzungu. No, you said you don't want to sound racist. Me, I'm Mau, so me, I don't care. Mzungu can go wherever they can go. Because those are people who have impoverished us deliberately. Deliberately. The agents are here. One fellow is a miller. He buys our coffee, but he's buying on behalf of several outlets out there. When you go out there, ask the small roasters. There's one roaster, I mentioned that to Mheshimiwa Cherugui, who showed me invoices of how much he had bought Kenyan coffee. And you know that Kenyan coffee is bad coffee. Yote imemixiwa yote, even the lights are there. And he was buying that coffee at $1,200 a bag. Right? When you check where the bag came from, maybe at the auction here it was something else. Check this if you want to prove me right. When we have sold our coffee at the exchange, by the time it gets to Mombasa, nataka uende Mombasa when it's being loaded, and check, you will not see a bag labeled Kenya AA or Kenya B or Kenya PB or Kenya whatever. No, all of it is Kenya coffee. Fellows will buy our coffee, some at whatever price, then all of it is bagged together. And when it gets there, it is Kenya coffee. We are also losing money. We are looking for money now as a government and as a country. In that process, we are losing a lot of money. And those are some of the things we need to look at. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Honorable Ndwiga, for that. I think you are a voice that we need to listen to more and more. And I've received, I'm seeing a request from Honorable Mbarire